Things are bubbling to the surface all of a sudden. Things I didn't even know I had. I just started meditating recently, and I think that the act of calming myself and being quiet is enabling buried things to come up. I don't know where they're coming from. It's mostly emotions, but I also get some words and pictures in my mind. What do I do next? There's obviously things I've repressed that need to come out. How bad is it going to be, though? How do we know if it will be really painful? So things are bubbling to the surface. Didn't know you had them. Just started meditating, and yes, it is true. This happens. This is why people don't meditate, because they don't want to be quiet, because they want to keep running from and avoiding the things that are going on within them. But we need to face it, because we'll always be carrying that stuff with us. We'll just be actively giving energy to pretending that they're not there. So yes, as you do calm yourself and become quiet with yourself, everything that is in you has always been there will come to the surface. So yes, that is part of the process. Don't know where they're coming from. They could be coming from this life, from other lifetimes. Again, it could be ancestral trauma, so it could be not even yours, but it's in your DNA, and that's coming up. It's mostly emotions, but you also get words and pictures, so take note of that, and literally write it down. Keep a journal or just some kind of notebook. What are the words? What are the pictures? What are the emotions? And as I mentioned with the anger question, there are sub-frequencies to every emotion, sadness at not getting the job, sadness at, not feeling loved in this world, sadness at the fact that a loved one passed away. There are many, many different emotions that are out there, so take note of those, because part of the healing process is unraveling those. Where did they really come from? And what did they have to teach me? Not to talk about, trauma and suffering being a teacher, but we have experiences so that we can grow and evolve our soul all throughout time. We choose things for ourselves. Not everything we choose. Some things just happen, unfortunately, but we choose situations so that we can learn from them. So you want to take note of the words, the pictures, the emotions that are coming up. So that's part of what to do next. In terms of how bad it's going to be and how do you know if it will be really painful, it really just depends on your level of sensitivity, I would say. Some of us are extremely sensitive, and even the slightest little, thing that happens in our life can just overwhelm us with pain and trigger us. And other people, are better able to handle some pretty nasty stuff that happens to them. So it's really just your level of sensitivity. There are strategies to make it a little bit less painful as you face it. I would say if you're really worried about this, have a partner in it. You don't have to go through this alone. Maybe you have a therapist or a psychotherapist or just a really good friend who's, has some depth to them, so they can talk about deep emotions and things like that. If you've got, anyone, a counselor, in healings, we could talk about it. It's nice to not go through all this alone, especially as things have just started to come up, so it's kind of new to you, and also when you don't know what's in there. Once you get the lay of the land, if you've been, once you've been doing it for a little while and you understand what's in there and how it's going to feel, you might feel a little more comfortable doing it alone. But until then, it might be good, to have a partner, have some help with it. We can do that in an energy healing. Sorry, I'm not trying to promote the energy healing, but what I really like about energy healing, and especially the way that I do it, is the client doesn't need to feel anything. It's me doing all the work. And it's working at the level of their soul. So their human body doesn't need to process anything, because I'm pulling it out of their human body, because I'm pulling it out of their entire soul. So, especially if I'm working with someone who's really sensitive, I don't always say everything that's going on to them, because they don't need to know. It's my job, to do the work, to get it done, to remove the pain and the suffering from their soul, to integrate the healing into them, and to let them know a little bit, this just happened, just so you know, because we do need to be aware. But it doesn't have to be painful for them. They don't have to feel it all in order to heal it, because to me, that's my job to do. Go slowly, though. If you feel there's a lot in there, or you can feel that there is a lot in there trying to come up, you do not want to overwhelm yourself, because that will just re-traumatize you. You want to heal at the rate that you are able to process it, because going overboard and doing too much, even accidentally, is detrimental. We call that a healing crisis. When we did too much healing, more than the body and the psyche and the nervous system could handle. So go slow. Go slow. Don't be alone. Find someone, even if it's a teddy bear, just so that you're not alone in this. It doesn't have to be painful, though, if you kind of surrender to your soul to let your soul guide you through this, you will have comfort from that as well, knowing that this is all coming up for a reason, knowing that it all happened, or a lot of it happened for a reason, and that the healing process fundamentally puts you back together in a way you maybe haven't been that whole in a long time, and brings peace to you, really. It truly does bring peace. So I wish you the best, and thank you for your question. I hope that helps.